Hello and welcome to Betfred's Football Show. Micky Gray is alongside me and the Premier League is back. And with this international break and the FA Cup the weekend before, it seems like ages ago, doesn't it?
Yeah, it always does. I think we always miss the Premier League, don't we? Which is obviously massive. So it's going to be great to have it back. There's some big games over this weekend, up until the Monday as well. And it's getting to that crunch time, isn't it? At the top and at the bottom.
Yeah, let's talk about the top. Beginning of February, Man City were 14 points clear. Fred paid out on Man City over Christmas. We've now got a proper title race, haven't we? Look at that, just 1 point between them, and the goal difference is in Liverpool's favour as well. It's plus 50 for Man City, plus 55 for Liverpool. Right, obviously, there's that huge game a week on Sunday at the Etihad, Man City versus Liverpool. How do you see the title race? As Fred...
It's
messed up again.
Do you know what? I think it's obviously going to go to the wire. I think everybody's looking at that game next Sunday as the crunch game. City are holding the cards because they're still top of the table, although Liverpool have been on this incredible run, and I think their forward line are always going to get goals. You can't really see in that run-up where any of them are going to slip up other than the game when they've got to play each other. I think it's going to be so tight. I just wonder, when Liverpool don't play well, they've always got goal scorers. They can see them over the line, which they've done over the last couple of weeks. Man City, when they don't play at their best, don't have that centre forward, and I think, they've had a couple of draws. That's where you worry about them a little bit.
Yeah, the last game, Palace, 14th of March, 0-0. Liverpool's last game, the 16th of March, that win at Arsenal, like you just mentioned.
Yeah, well, Arsenal for 60 minutes with a better side, and that's what I'm saying. So the centre forward, although Arsenal didn't capitalise on that, centre forward to Liverpool ended up coming up trumps, and they won that game 2-0. So when you read a newspaper or you pick up a paper or turn your TV on, you look at it and you think, right, they've played really well, but they haven't. But they've got those centre forwards where Man City at times this season, I think it's 4 games this season in the Premier League where they've not scored. Champions don't often do that. But then when you think about that game next Sunday, Man City against Liverpool, I still favour Man City because of the way they can keep hold of the ball, the way they can control football matches. They're obviously going to have that home advantage. And I think you look at that and maybe you think it's probably City's yet again. But I couldn't tell you, Mark. It's so hard to call.
Well, at the moment, Man City are 4-9, Liverpool are 13-8. But as I said, Fred paid out on Man City to win the title over Christmas, but he's got it wrong before, as all Manchester United fans now got it wrong. First time ever in 1998. First ever bookmaker to pay out early when Man United were 12 points clear. Arsenal won a title by a point. Right, let's talk about their respective games this weekend. So, Liverpool at home to Watford. Cracking record at home against Watford. They've won the last 6 in a row. Aggregate score 22, just conceded a 1. I think psychologically this is interesting because it might only be for a couple of hours, but Liverpool will go top. And Liverpool go top for the first time in quite a while.
It's a big advantage, that, I think, playing first, because you're sending out the message to your rivals. And the way Liverpool have been of late, they've obviously got great quality, as we keep mentioning, along the forward line, but even strengthening there with Diaz. He's hit the ground running, he's come into the Premier League, he looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, Salah's got himself 20 Premier League goals this season already. His return is just exceptional. He's obviously got the disappointment of coming back to Liverpool, knowing that he's not going to the World Cup, obviously getting knocked out on penalties. But I don't think that'll matter to him. I think Jurgen Klopp will put his arm around him, and obviously playing in front of his home fans, he always gets a great reception, as Liverpool always do. Watford on the other hand, I mean, Roy Hodgson's gone in there, they've had a couple of clean sheets, they've had some decent results, obviously last time out beating Southampton 2-1, but I think this is a step too far, I really do. I think Liverpool get goals in this game, they do win that game, they go top of the Premier League, but I think it's only until Man City play.
Man City at Burnley.
Yeah, again, Sean Dyche, we always build him up every single season and say what a wonderful job he's done, and he has done a wonderful job, but I think for one reason or another this time around, everybody's now talking about Burnley being in the bottom 3, getting relegated, and I don't see that changing, Mark. I really don't. Man City just control football matches, and I think coming up against the Burnley side, who haven't shown great form, lost that game against Brentford last time out, which was a massive game for them to win. They needed to win that if they were going to give themselves any chance of getting out of that bottom 3. City, obviously, in the Cup beat Southampton. They had a draw against Crystal Palace, as you mentioned there before, but they get back to winning ways in this game.
If we presume Chelsea finish third, they're 5 points clear of Arsenal in fourth at the moment, and Chelsea are still getting results with obviously all sorts going on off the pitch. Who finishes fourth then?
Well, you have to favour Arsenal at the moment. You've got to. I watched them before the international break at Aston Villa. I covered that game, and they were excellent from start to finish. And I think Arteta was
win that game in. Sorry to interrupt, Mickey. If you win that game in hand that we just saw there, then it's a big gap, isn't it, to fifth?
No, and that's the thing. We're all talking about the games in hand, but they've gone out and they've won those football matches. That's what they needed to do. They've got that gap between themselves and Tottenham and Manchester United. They're playing well. The younger generation is scoring goals. Saka and Smith Rowe, I think they're nearly on double figures for Premier League goals. And Arteta's got something going there. He's complained about the fixtures, but they keep winning the football matches. That's all they've got to do. I said, now we're coming to the end of the season. I don't really see that changing. And I think if you look at form out of Arsenal, Tottenham and Manchester United, Arsenal have been the better side.
They're at Palace Monday night.
Tough game. Vieira, I think, is unbeaten in 6 or 7 games at the moment. Crystal Palace playing some really good football. And you've got Elise up front, Zaha. They've been playing really well. Vieira's got something going at Crystal Palace. I think it's a really hard fixture for them. Don't see him losing the game, but I don't see him winning. I think that could be a score draw, that game.
If there is a race for the top 4, then Man United home to Leicester on Saturday night. Man United this season just, I don't know, it's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back again, isn't it? Which you could argue it's been like that for 9 years since Fergie retired.
Absolutely. The form has just been atrocious this season. When you think they've turned a corner, then they'll just put in a horrible performance. You talk about individuals as much as you want. You can maybe think David De Gea and Ronaldo have probably been the best 2 players this season. Sancho over the last 4 or 5 weeks, but other than that, there's no player can come out at the end of the season and say they've had a great season, because they haven't. Obviously Ralph Rangnick's come in, he's tried to tighten things up and play expansive football. Well, I'm yet to see it. And I don't think they actually deserve to finish in the top 4. They've got big job to do in the summer there. A new manager's obviously going to be walking through the door. Players are going to be leaving, players are going to be coming in. They've got to start getting it right. And coming up against Leicester, I think they've beaten them the last 3 times they played against them. I see that continue, and I see Leicester winning this football game.
But if you're Ralph Rangnick, you could tell him he's got to go out and win, because they're still going to play Arsenal. Yeah,
they've got some tough games, absolutely. He's got to say to his players, coming back off this international break, every single game from now till the end of the season, no distractions, we have got to win football games. If we do, we give ourselves a chance of finishing that top 4. But then Arsenal and Tottenham are going to be doing exactly the same thing. Their managers are going to be saying exactly that. And I just think that's why Manchester United are going to miss out this season.
What about Tottenham? 3 points behind Arsenal. They're at home to Newcastle, 4:30 Sunday.
Yeah, hard game. I think Eddie Howe's come in. He started to organise Newcastle. They've had a couple of disappointing results, but when they lose now, they're losing by the odd goal. And I think you look at Tottenham at home with Harry Kane and Son, the form that they've been over the last few weeks. They're just starting to get it right, probably at the right time for them. And if anybody is going to chase Arsenal down for that top 4 in that 4th spot, it is Tottenham. I see it being a slight win for Tottenham, but a really tough game, that.
Yeah, Arsenal are 2's on to get that 4th spot. Spurs are 9-4, Man United 9-2, and West Ham 33-1, just falling away of late. But I still think David Moyes is doing a great job at West Ham. But let's talk bottom of the table. Fascinating as always. Certainly things have changed for Newcastle. Now, 35 points on average has been enough in the last 10 seasons. So you could say Newcastle are just a win away with 9 games left from probably staying up. Brentford have got themselves dragged into it. A couple of huge wins for Leeds of late. I mean, they were obviously struggling at half-time against Wolves, and then came back 1-3-2. They were also just drawing against Norwich, weren't they, into the 90th minute as well. So 2 huge stoppage time goals for Leeds have given them 6 points. Everton, obviously a big win of late. Can they get themselves out of it? How do you see the bottom, Mickey?
It would surprise me if that bottom 3 changed now, Mark. It really would. But I've seen the form of Everton this season. I've covered a few of their games, and there's no form whatsoever. I think you see Frank Lampard at the end of games, his interviews, and you just touched on that game that they won against Newcastle. very late on. They won that 1-1-0. That 3 points was absolutely massive for them. And you think of these fixtures coming up over the weekend.
So they're away at West Ham on Sunday.
Yeah, it's a hard game. And as you mentioned, David Moyes has got West Ham absolutely flying. They're going great guns in Europe. They're still chasing down one of those European positions if they need to, if they don't go all the way in the European competition that they're in. So I see West Ham winning this game. And I think that puts more pressure on Frank Lampard and on Everton.
And what about Brighton and Norwich?
Massive game there. I mean, Graham Potter knows his side are probably safe, but he wants to try and get a top half finish if he possibly can. I mean, they've lost the last 6, need to get back to winning ways. Norwich are fighting for their lives. I can't split them, to be honest with you, so I've got a 1-1 draw in that game, but it's not enough for Norwich either in Dean Smith.
And also at 3 o'clock Saturday, Leeds, Southampton. It looks like Calvin Phillips and Liam Cooper, who've been a massive misses for Leeds, are back in contention. So, yeah, look, for Leeds, it's changed dramatically with those 2 injury-time winners, hasn't it?
Amazing what 3 points can do in Premier League matches and back-to-back wins. Those 6 points over the last 2 games. They've just got that little gap between themselves and the bottom 3.
What was it, 7 and 8?
Yeah.
Defeats.
They needed that. And as you mentioned there about players coming back from long injuries as well. Phillips has been a huge miss for them. Cooper at the back, the experience, that voice, if you like. I think they just need to get this season out of the way, Leeds, then readdress and just have a bigger squad next season. You know, we knew what Bielsa had, a small squad which you like to work with, and if you've got injuries then you're going to have problems, which they've had all season. But they're getting it right at the moment. Southampton are kind of hit and miss. I think they're great for 45 minutes and then after that they seem to struggle. So I think that might be a home win for Leeds.
OK, so that's at Leeds, Southampton. And we've spoken about Burnley, Man City already. Mickey fancies Man City away at Burnley. Right, let's talk about a huge game on Sunday. Not in the Premier League, it's in the Scottish Premiership. What a game, midday Sunday. And huge significance. Well, obviously always huge significance, but Rangers can go level. Celtic win, 6 clear with 6 games to go.
And that's what Postecoglou's got to say to his players. You know, if you've got a 6-point gap and you're chasing down that title again after Rangers obviously winning it last season, there's your incentive right there. But you go into Ibrox, the atmosphere is going to be just insane. I've played in that game, Mark, at Ibrox. Fortunately, I was on the winning side, but I know what it means to both sides, Rangers and Celtic. But I think you're going to see that fight from Rangers. Look, they played twice this season. They've won 1 each. Obviously, the last time they played, Celtic put in an incredible performance. They really did. But the last 4 times they've been to Ibrox, Rangers have won the game. And that's why I just sway to them a little bit. I know Celtic fans are not going to like hearing that, but I think this is just going to be such a tight and intense game. I think it's going to be won by the odd goal, and I've just gone for the home side, so I think it's game on till the end of the season.
If Rangers win, level on points, Celtic will stay top on goal difference more likely. Where's the title go then? Well,
the thing I've got there is after the game, which I've just said, I think Rangers might just nick this one. They've got Europe to think about as well, and that's key. Because you've got to chop and change the squad a little bit. The players are going to be feeling it. Obviously, travelling on Thursdays and playing the games Sundays. Celtic won't have that distraction. Out of Europe, all they can concentrate on is the league. So I think that's why I just tipped Celtic to win the title this season. But what a season it's been for Rangers. Obviously a change of manager. They've been chasing Celtic over the last 2.5 to 3 months, trying to get that top spot back. They've clawed them back. It's just a massive game. I do think Celtic can win the league, but what a season Rangers have had.
But he's tipping Rangers to win on Sunday. Right, just a couple of 3 o'clock kickoffs to finish with, we've not spoken about. You mentioned Rangers, of course. Stevie Gerrard now at Villa, Wolves Villa.
Yeah, that's it. Wolves have been... they've went through that part of the season where they looked like nobody could score against them. A lot of possession, which is really impressive, but really find it difficult in front of goal. Whereas Aston Villa, as I said, I watched the game against Arsenal at Villa Park. He's got them going there, Stephen. The atmosphere was absolutely rocking. But they're going to have those spells where you don't win football games. I think he knew that when he walked through the door. Again, this is a hard one to call. I actually think Aston Villa can go and win this one. I really do. When you look at the forward line, Ollie Watkins is coming back after scoring a goal for England. Coutinho, we know what he's brought to Aston Villa. Since he walked through the door, he's been absolutely outstanding. They've got a good balance, good energy. Although Stephen was disappointed with that Arsenal performance, I think that's why they're going to react to that. And I think that's why they just get over the line and win this one.
And the Wolves will be gutted as well. 2-0 up at home against Leeds.
Yeah, and that hurts. Doesn't matter what side you are. If you're 2-0 up, you're cruising. Leeds obviously fought their way back into that game. Went down to 10 men.
You could argue a red card changed everything, couldn't you?
Yeah, it did. I think that was the turning point in the game. But you can still stay nice and tight, and you can still see the game out and try and win it. But credit to Leeds, the way they bounced back. But that will disappoint Wolves. But they've had a great season themselves. They've got some really top players and still players to come back into the squad as well. So watch out for them next season.
What about Chelsea-Brentford?
Yeah, I've gone for Chelsea in this one. I think with the form of Havertz, even Timo Werner scored in the international break, so that says it all. But Mason Mount as well. They've got some top quality players. I know they've got the problems off the field, but that's full credit to the players. They've just dug in, they've knuckled down, they've gone on with the job in hand, winning football matches, not thinking about the distractions of what's happening with the football club. The players have gone on with it. Brentford have been brilliant. Yeah, they'll obviously make it really difficult for Chelsea to break them down. Ivan Toney's had a really good season for them, hasn't he? I think he's obviously into double figures in the Premier League, which is a great return for him. But I think this one's one step too far for them, so I've gone for Chelsea.
Thanks, Micky. Thanks for joining us. So the Premier League is back, but please, if you're having a bet this weekend, please keep it fun and gamble responsibly, and we'll see you next week.